The bridge collapsed in under 6 seconds, burying 42 people beneath 300 tons of rusted iron in Morbi, Gujarat. This wasn't an act of God. It was the final, inevitable cost of systemic neglect in India's urban centers. We are investigating the specific, haunting mechanics behind this preventable tragedy to reveal the lethal gap between our high tech national ambitions and the crumbling, deadly reality of our most basic public survival infrastructure. Something that will shift how you view every old building you walk past today. Grab a glass of water, get comfortable, and let's talk about the cost of looking the other way. It is April 29th, 2026. The clock in my office at the Bowring and Lady Curzon Hospital in Bengaluru reads 5:30 p.m. Outside, the sky has turned the color of a bruised plum. A severe storm, the kind that has become unnervingly common as our climate shifts, is tearing through the city. We are a hospital established in 1868. Our architecture is colonial, inspired by the grand, sprawling designs of a bygone century. But history is a heavy burden when the walls themselves begin to forget their strength. I am a senior administrator here, but in moments like this, I am just a witness to the impossible. A sudden, violent roar erupts from the perimeter of our compound. It is a sound of stone grinding against stone, followed by the terrifying silence that always follows a catastrophe. The section of our historic compound wall has simply given up. It has collapsed under the weight of the storm, the age of the foundation, and the unforgiving pressure of a city that has outgrown its own skin. 7 people are dead on the spot. Among them is a 6-year-old girl. They were not patients. They were street vendors and tired pedestrians seeking temporary shelter under tarpaulin sheets rigged against that very wall, hoping to escape the lashing rain. They came to a place of healing to escape the storm, and that sanctuary became their tomb. Think about that for a second. This is the irony that keeps me awake at night. Our hospital is a vital safety net for thousands of the city's poorest residents every single day. We are a teaching hospital linked to the Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee Medical College and Research Institute. We are a beacon of hope in the middle of a city that brands itself as the Silicon Valley of India. But look closely at the cracks in our plaster. We are living in a city of glass and steel skyscrapers, while our public infrastructure remains a relic held together by hope and patchwork maintenance. How do we claim to be a city of the future when we cannot keep our past from falling on those who need us most? If you've been finding this breakdown helpful, please consider hitting the subscribe button below. I release deep dives into these structural realities every single week, and your support helps me keep this research coming. Now, here is where things get truly complicated. You might wonder why a wall, a simple barrier, would be the point of failure for an institution that serves thousands. The answer lies in the silent, grinding struggle of administrative prioritization. Every morning, when I walk through these corridors, I am faced with a triage of needs that would break anyone. Do I spend our limited budget on a surgical unit that needs a sterile, modern roof to prevent infection? Or do I reinforce a perimeter wall that hasn't been structurally inspected for safety in decades? This is the double life of the public sector. We are asked to provide modern medical miracles within a skeletal, crumbling frame. We rely on what I call the band-aid reality. A quick fix here, a bit of plaster there, until the entire structure reaches its expiration point. The tragedy is that public infrastructure is often viewed as a cost, not an investment, until the exact moment it fails, costing far more in human lives than a simple maintenance contract ever would have. I remember the scene after the collapse vividly. It wasn't the sirens that got to me first. It was the sight of local residents and bystanders grabbing whatever tools they had, using an earth mower to dig through the rubble while the rain continued to pour. 7 injured, 7 lost. A government probe was ordered and compensation was announced at 5 lakh rupees per victim. But money is a hollow comfort when the systemic failure remains untouched. The government visits, the politicians offer their sympathies, media cameras focus on the ruin, and then the cycle of neglect quietly resumes in the shadows. The infrastructure tension in Bengaluru is not just about a wall, it is about the deliberate gap between the city's high-tech aspirations and the fragile, colonial-era foundations that hold our most vulnerable people. All right, here is the final insight, the one I've been saving and the one that truly changes how you see our cities. The most dangerous part of this tragedy is that it was not unforeseen. In urban planning, we have a term for this: deferred maintenance debt. Every year we delay the structural audit of an old building, we are not actually saving money. We are taking out a high-interest loan against the safety of the citizens who use that building. When you see a city expanding rapidly, you are seeing a focus on the new, the shiny, and the profitable. Meanwhile, the old, the essential, and the non-profitable infrastructure is left to erode. This isn't just about Bowring Hospital. It is about every bridge, every dam, and every public building that exists in the shadow of rapid urban growth. We treat these structures as permanent, indestructible fixtures, but they are living, decaying, and time bound. If we don't start seeing maintenance as the most vital form of city development, these accidents will not be isolated incidents. They will be the new baseline. Think about the last time you walked through an old government building, a subway station, or a public park. Did you look at the cracks in the ceiling? Did you notice the rusted rebar? We have developed a societal blindness to decay because we assume someone else is managing the risk. But as a hospital administrator, I have learned that the someone else is often just a desk, a budget line, and a long queue of competing demands. The tragedy in Bengaluru is a mirror for every rapidly expanding city on Earth. It serves as a reminder that we cannot build a future on a crumbling past without paying the price in blood. Every piece of infrastructure has a shelf life, and the most dangerous thing we can do is ignore the expiration date written in the cracks of our own walls. So there you have it. 3 layers of reality behind a single heartbreaking collapse. The administrative burden of impossible choices, the systemic neglect of our colonial era assets, and the dangerous illusion that our infrastructure is meant to last forever without help. If you got value from this, please share it with someone who needs to understand the weight of our urban choices. Hit subscribe so you don't miss our next breakdown, and leave a comment below. Have you noticed a piece of infrastructure in your own city that seems to be screaming for help? Let's keep the conversation moving. I'll see you in the next one.